Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there. Welcome back.
We almost did this video at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And so we held off and we waited and added a few things to it of importance. And I think it's going to be a busy day. So expect more videos from us unless the grid goes down.
Yeah, unless that happens. So we'll see. We had a couple solar flares and yep.
Lots of things to touch on. I mean, there's a lot going on out there. It's to be expected. Happy anniversary, guys. It's February 22nd, 2024. 2 years after we hit that peak date of 2022, the United States Pluto return. Wondering, what does it look like when we're in the thick of the Pluto return if you're living in the U.S. or in any NATO nation for that point? Well, now we have an idea, don't we?
Yeah.
Now we have an idea. Again, there's a reason why things occur at certain times. We have two X-class flares, an X1.9 followed by an X1.7, both causing short-lived R3 level radio blackouts. As you can see, one centered over the Indian Ocean area there, and the other out in the Pacific. It's very interesting because there's so many things going on at this moment. Right now, of course, the KP is still low, but we'll have to watch and see how that is going to be escalating and how much it does escalate. So as we see here, this is from Solar Ham, AR3590, putting on a show, another strong solar flare. This time an X1.7 event at 6:32 UTC on 22nd. So far, none of these events look to have produced noteworthy eruptions. That could change. The region is continuing to move into an Earth-facing position. So, before this was the X1.9. So this is rotating around to be more in an area to direct hit us. We will see what will come from it. Again, what it is doing is it is changing us, literally, our consciousness, and it is affecting our bodies as we see. This always looks like waves in the ocean to me. It looks like you're looking at graphs of buoy heights and things. Just exciting times we are in.
Mm-hmm. These always have something to do with consciousness, and usually I'm able to peek in there and see what part of our consciousness is being upgraded. And the last one, we had a huge upgrade when it comes to the pineal gland, and there was also a bump in the light body where everyone's light body kind of lit up a little bit and people went through a little bit of a purge. And I really feel, I haven't peeked into this one just yet, but I kind of feel it's going to add to our consciousness everything that's already happening. So if you're going through any type of purging, if you're having like physical problems, emotional problems, things coming up in your life, just know that it's a cleansing, it's a purging. So you leave all of the heavy stuff behind and you're able to rise up to a new place. So try to look at it that way, no matter how hard it gets. I know it can be tough.
So another thing that I did want to just touch on briefly, when did the Russian invasion of Ukraine start? They say February 24th, 2022. For me, I kind of feel it started the next day, and we're having a little bit of a Mandela moment, I guess. And it hit me before when they dated this. It was like, no, I could have sworn it was right. Like the immediate next day. Of course, there's a lot of time zones to jump when you're talking from the U.S. over to Moscow and Kiev. More upcoming on everything over there, too, as we progress during this day. So, be on the lookout for that. I thought this was super cool because I've talked to you guys and told you what I see when the guides come. When I see the guides come and we're either meditating or we're going to sleep, and then I'm aware of the guide's presence, and then the Cindy often will start to channel and give us information as one of them will step in and speak to her. And it looks a lot like this. And also, this is what I see around us all the time. So whenever I am looking anywhere, especially towards either the sky or a light-colored wall, really anywhere now, I'm always seeing something that looks like this. And there's patterns in it. And again, this is the consciousness field. Ultimately, we are all consciousness itself inside one unified field. I told Cindy, I said, we got this video we got to get up today. I want this to be shorter and a little brief, but then at the same time, now from everything we've been getting, I think we got 3 others to do today. If we could get them today, we'll probably end up going into tomorrow with all the things that are going on. But there's just so much information to get to you guys. It's just fascinating times. And, Cindy did want to share with her vision of Source something similar.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was really very unique when I did see Source, and I'm still unpacking that. There was so much information to go through. It looked similar to this, but it was a little darker, but you could see the consciousness moving, breathing. It had presence to it, and this is exactly what it looks like. So I just think it's fun when something comes up in the 3D that you can actually relate to when you see, past what the 3D has to offer, and you can share your experience with people. So that's why we kind of jump in and say, hey, this is familiar, and so that maybe other people can understand what we see.
Yes, absolutely. It is fascinating. I look forward to your comments and experiences as well. Oh, yes. This is another thing. Are you ready for the eclipse? Well, we'll get into a little bit more details on that to come, but suffice it to say, I believe we are 45 days away at this point. It's coming fast. Time travels, it just seems faster every day. It's always relative, of course. So longer the life, the faster things seem to go. But how about when you recognize past lives? That's fascinating. And thinking about consciousness and being embodied, not in a dark age, but in an age where there's ever increasing light. Oh, it's just there is reason to be excited in a positive sense. But right now we got to go through the thick of it. It's always darkest before dawn, they say. And speaking about darkness, we have a lot of AT&T customers, this is saying over 60,000, saying they're unable to make calls, with others reporting phones automatically calling 911 and reverting to SOS. As you could look at the outages reported spiking over there. And these are areas in the U.S. that were having outages. Of course, right away. And as you can see, it's not just AT&T. You see the spike on Verizon and Boost Mobile, T-Mobile, Cricket, all these, U.S. Cellular. You right away thinks, hey, we just had 2 X-class flares. Although, they can cause radio disruptions. They weren't centered right here, but everything is still connected. Yet, we have an ongoing, truly global war that's underway. We have all sorts of possibilities for cyber attacks. You see this from San Francisco Fire Department. Media were well aware of an issue impacting AT&T wireless customers from making and receiving any phone calls. What I want to stress again is that we cannot take for granted anything that we've gotten used to. While we don't think that they want us to not have the grid up for like a long time, like years. No. The grid is key in all their plans. But they're also counting on your addiction to the grid to pull you back in so that you will again say, what do I need to do? Where do I need to sign? To get dry, to get comfortable, to get fed, and to get my internet, and to get maybe my federal assistance or my global assistance check. Maybe you will be getting a Klaus check at some point in the future is what they're planning. So, obviously the people that are always monitoring all this stuff, talking about, well, you got a lot of major cities: Chicago, San Francisco, L.A., Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, Atlanta, so many other locations as well. Cyber attack. Is this a test run? I again think that we are heading into the thick of things. Here we are at the end of February. I mean, March will fly by. March has 31 days. February is a short month, and then we're in April. And April is just, hang on tight times. It really, really is. It's dotting I's, crossing T's, making sure that you have everything that you're going to need to get you through what might be disruptions that last days, maybe weeks, maybe even months. Again, I think they will have things up and down, up and down. I think, that's what we're going to be seeing. But certain areas, certainly it could be down more than up for months at a time. Here you have another sign of the times. So an illegal immigrant steals a state-owned truck and goes for an hour-long chase in Maryland. There was a truck driver here, a tow truck driver, helping somebody who was broken down on the side of the road, and he was away from his truck, and an illegal migrant jumped into it and started driving off. And the illegal hit multiple cars, ran through utility lines, injured 2 officers. They were sent to the hospital and later released. The craziness is only starting, but it is starting. And a lot of people that follow this stuff feel that it's kind of like they've maybe given a level 1 go or something, a low level go to some to start causing a little bit more disruptions. Here you have a police pursuit. So this one, by the way, this was Maryland. This is over on the other side. This is Cucamonga, California. Police pursuit ends in dramatic chase after stolen semi-truck sparks and flames fly. Another one, somebody taking off. The pursuit began in Bakersfield, California. Truck was stolen while being filled with gas. Lasting over an hour, it ended in Cucamonga, California, where police deployed spike strips, puncturing both front tires, causing sparks and flames to erupt in the truck. The suspect was later tackled and arrested. And we will hopefully see who that was. I wonder if that was another one. If you are in Malibu, be aware, lots of landslides still going on, mudslides. You can see right here, this over here is the Canyon Road. California is very saturated. All this is adding weight, which does affect fault lines. Let's listen to this one, guys. And I hope that this comes across without, this looks good, being too muffled.
Units in 6 and citywide. We have a 10-1, 200 West 87th Street, 200 West 87th Street, the Home Depot. Talked to this over 100 migrants attacking security. Some of the security officers are off-duty police officers. Nothing further. Don't need clearance. Alright, if I have anybody close by 200 West 87th Street at the Home Depot, they're being called in as a 10-1. Over 100 migrants attacking security. Security are off-duty POs. And for all units in 6 and citywide, we're doing a disregard for the 10-1 at 200 West 87th Street. Again, that's a disregard for the 10-1 at 200 West 87th Street for 610 Adam.
This is Chicago, by the way. Over 100 migrants attacking security officers at Chicago Home Depot.
And I mean, when I see these things, I like to look for local examples too. And it wasn't very long ago, you and I were just somewhere where they now have, we're at Home Depot, and they now have to have like the gates closed and the big garage door closed because there were so many instances where people were stealing things. And if you look around here, you don't see people grabbing and running anywhere with anything. So it was just so odd to see that they're having to lock everything down now.
Yeah, absolutely. We were grabbing supplies with one of the many projects we have going on. We were scouting and looking for some pomegranate trees, which we did get half a dozen. Not at Home Depot. They didn't have anything. Everything was locked up and everything was set aside. And it was really weird. And so I was asking, one of the girls there, because also I'm used to walking straight into the lumber side and, grabbing a cart, go and getting what you need. And it was weird that they were letting the door down after every single customer that was leaving. I said, "Why are you guys doing this? It's not really raining. It's not really cold." And she said there's been so many thefts that this is like a new thing that they've instituted. So in the garden center, and when it's going to be peak garden center time here very shortly, it's going to be always locked, and that just hits me as crazy. All these extra people going in through the center part, but this is where we're at now, and the same thing with the lumberyard. And we noticed it at other stores were doing the same thing. It was it's just a sign of the times.
Mm-hmm. It is. It's so unfortunate. And, after this is going to come the technology. So to me, I'm just kind of watching everything change, but it's at such a slow pace. It's changing at a crawl. I mean, it's going so slow that people sometimes say, well, I don't see that there's any changes or any differences. But if you go back and kind of look at things differently over the last couple of years, they are changing, especially when you look at ingredients on your food and you have to check and make sure there's no crushed bugs in there.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is talking about Chicago residents that are enraged over the illegal immigrants using the resources and junking up the streets, and also calling out other countries for sending in their criminals, which again, some were saying these are totally false. They're not emptying their prisons and sending them up. But the reality is, yes, we're seeing very highly wanted individuals that are on different lists of notoriety that are being apprehended, but then it makes you wonder how many aren't being apprehended, how many murderers, how many people involved in the worst gangs on the planet, how many from the cartels are now just it's like the movie The Purge. If you guys remember that movie, this is the conditions that they're creating. There's going to be a period that's going to be just like that movie in the NATO countries. This is totally intentional. And we still have more and more people waking up to all the fires that pop up instantaneously. It's another thing. And part of the crime chaos is to bring in an extra level of security. Everybody will have to get your retina scanned before you go into any store. You're going to have your digital ID. This is all part of that system. So Australia's Victoria State, you have a lot of bushfires burning out of control, evacuations going on over there, thousands fleeing. Xinjiang over in China records the lowest temperature in history at negative 62.1 degrees Fahrenheit. And it came on so quick that it killed all these waterfowl, and that's not normal. It's just not normal. Now, at first, I think I bought more into the fact that the pole shift and the magnetic pole reversal is going to have all these effects. Well, we've seen movies like The Day After Tomorrow and stuff, polar vortexes, and yet as time has gone on, I've come to realize, especially looking deeper into Tartaria and the other civilizations, and then when Cindy's been able to channel information, there's a lot of things happening at this time of a natural order that they take advantage of. If they didn't augment it with the technology, we wouldn't be having this type of occurrence. It would be something we would easily be able to adjust to, and we'd be able to get out of the way of, so to speak, by simply, leaving areas that are going to have major issues. The intensity of these things, whether they are extreme weather events like like this, droughts, etc., in my opinion, we would have nowhere near the extreme going on if it wasn't for the technology, which again is all about the agenda.
Mm-hmm. It is, and it's really unfortunate that they do that. And there's a lot of places out there that talk about these really huge, disastrous events. I don't see them being able to happen without the technology, the off-planet technology that exists out there. It's really putting us at a disadvantage, because if we were really in touch with the earth, we wouldn't have so many problems. But we are in the darkest of the dark in the Kali Yuga, and it really is up to us to light our own candle and light the way for ourselves and others.
And again, stay in shape. And this is one of the things that people may not think of at all with surviving these times, surviving the end of a Kali Yuga. And in shape spiritually, obviously, you got to keep your vibes high. You have to have your spiritual practice that's going to root you and ground you. There's an old statement, there are no atheists in foxholes. Well, we all might be in foxholes at some point in time, metaphorically, but the reality is, we are dodging all sorts of bullets, etc., over our heads at this very moment. As we have all the signals that are always hitting us. We have all the different stuff that's being put up in the clouds, in the water, in the soil, all the pollutants that are intentionally being added to our existence. And, the parasites, when you start to recognize exactly what parasites are, are they part of the natural order? That's something that's an interesting topic for a video, because yes, a lot of parasites are truly demonic in nature. Oh, there's so much to go over. I'm feeling really good after a fast, so my mind has gotten much clearer after the fast, and this always happens. It's like it's tougher. You need to fast when you start feeling a little cloudy, when you start feeling a little fuzzy, and when you're really in tune. And what we're seeing is so many of you absolutely wonderful, amazing people out there that follow us on a regular basis, part of the core group that watch every video. You guys are evolving rapidly and turning into something that Homo sapiens has not been in our lifetimes, and actually for many generations. That's the good part of this. There is a good side to the story, because again, humanity, a portion of humanity, will work itself into freedom, and it's just a matter of time. We don't want to be that part of humanity that becomes integrated into the collective, the dark, demonic Borg collective.
No, I mean, we have choices right now. We have options right now. And I strongly suggest that everyone do everything they can to exercise those choices and options, and have a plan, have a path, have a vision. Your vision is so very important, because that energy that's always busy doing what it does around you, it's always listening for instructions, like, what do you want me to do? Which direction do we go? It finds those instructions in your mind's eye. So your vision is so critical. Make sure it's a good one.
Absolutely. And thank you guys again for your support and being part of this family and sharing your time in these interesting times with us. Source bless and namaste.
Namaste.